Hey folks, thought I'd make a video on how to do an update to the databases on the PC-24. When I went through initial training, we talk about this in the course, but we don't actually see it done. And the Honeywell videos, as great as they are, don't really cover this too well. And there's a couple unexpected behaviors that might cause panic in the uninitiated. So thought I'd walk you through what this actually looks like in the real aircraft. So right now, you definitely want to do this with external power. Right now I just have battery 1 enabled and got the iPad ready with the INDS software, which is this icon here, assuming you have your application and everything is ready to go on the account and you have all your databases in place. You will see them here. Today we're just going to do the electronic charts, which is the largest database you would be updating. And so from here you would check your databases, of course, by going to the Init tab, then going to databases, and here you would see which database you have activated, and of course the charts there. Currently loaded on the aircraft is the October 25th charts, but available in the INDS is the November 8th chart. So we'll go ahead and do that update, but let's get our rest of our system booted up here and on external power before we start that process. So as always, we make sure that battery 1 is online prior to bringing on battery 2. Battery 2 can come online. Now we gain an extra MFD screen. We let things finish their tests, and again, what we're looking for prior to bringing on external power is that all of these systems display their data and that we have no X's, and really the final thing to load would be the fuel. So once fuel is identified and everything is loaded up, at that point we can bring on external power. All right, now we have our fuel loaded. We have we're inside of a hangar right now, so that's why we're seeing the enter IRS position, because they're obviously missing GPS data. But now everything is loaded, or we have our fuel indication, and now we can come up here and bring on our GPU. With our GPU, we gain the last display, and at this point, we'll let everything boot up for a second. But on our iPad, we're going to want to connect and make sure that we're connected to the aircraft's Wi-Fi. So here's the different Wi-Fi options that I have available. Here you can see the Wi-Fi of the aircraft. Make sure that you're not confused with the ICMS, which is the in-cabin management system, which controls your lighting and sort of entertainment features for the passengers on board. Now that we're on the Wi-Fi network, we can switch back to our application, the database management software. And here we can see that we've already downloaded the electronic charts. You'll want to do this when you're connected to Wi-Fi. And then you can go over here to Uploads. And we'll be able to find the database that we're going to actually push to the aircraft. Now, you'll want to make sure that you're selecting the right item. Oh, and this might come up as it's trying to find internet, which obviously the aircraft is not going to have internet on this Wi-Fi network. So we'll just say keep trying Wi-Fi. And the INDS electronic charts is there. We can confirm it is the 23-2024. You can go back here. That is the correct cycle number, 23-2024. Go back to Uploads, and that is the correct one. Now, one thing, it's tempting to try to load more than one of these at a time. I don't think you can even do that. Yeah, it won't let you. So you'll have to do one at a time. And that's good because you'll see what happens. So now that the system is booted up and we are ready to push, you can go ahead and say load to avionics. Now this is going to take its sweet time. This is the largest database. Some of the databases are faster than the others, but this will essentially load fully. You won't get any progress indication on the aircraft that it is working, and so the electronic charts will push to the aircraft, and essentially when it is ready, you'll start seeing red X's appearing on 2 of the screens at a time as it updates FMS1 and then FMS2 databases separately. So we'll set the screen to record here on the iPad, and we'll watch this continue, and then I'll show you what happens with the aircraft. Okay, so here you can hear we've gotten 2 red X's. Now you notice that came on just at around 62%. So you'll see the 2 screens have gone red. That's totally normal. At this time, you definitely do not want to interrupt power to the aircraft. So you want to make sure that you're doing this on a stable ground power service. You'll continue to hear dings. And again, you just ignore those. You can hit the world disable over here, but I like to leave it on just so if I'm in the back of the aircraft or I can kind of monitor the progress. So here you'll notice these 2 screens returned, but these 2 now went out, and now all 4 go out. As you can tell, to the uninitiated, this can be quite alarming if you're doing this for the first time. So again, just don't interrupt power to the aircraft. Don't leave this application. And so leaving the iPad in kind of a stable place where it's unlikely to lose its Wi-Fi connection is a good idea. I understand that if this process does get interrupted or you lose power, it can AOG the aircraft, and maintenance might be required to manually load some of the databases. Okay, so now it is saying loading progress at 99%. I find that it kind of sits here for a little while. They see the screens just went just a resetting now. As everything starts to come back, there's going to be a host of CAS messages. One CAS message I notice persists after the reboot here is CPCS fail. You can reset that. If you go into the QRH, you can run that procedure, basically going from auto to man and man back to auto. Personally, I would never do this update and then do an engine start and continue to flight. I would power cycle the aircraft once the last database has been loaded. However, I do find that at least with this aircraft, it's okay to go ahead and load the next database after the iPad has confirmed that the load was successful. Sometimes you'll start to see more and more CAS messages appear. Just wait for them to go away. They will finally extinguish. If at any time you find that you're noticing kind of an odd behavior with the loading process, you can always, of course, while you're loading, it must be prior to, after the completion of a successful load and prior to the beginning of the next load, power cycle the aircraft. But I haven't found I needed to do that in between loading, even if I have multiple of these to load at the same time. So the aircraft's coming back up here. You can see the CPCS fail. And we're just waiting for the iPad to catch up. And again, the electronic charts here are the longest because it's the largest file. If we do come up here into the init page and we look at databases, we can see now that November 8th is the chart date, which is the date that we loaded. You'll notice the iPad goes into this checking process now. So it says completing and confirming the load operation. And it'll give us a check mark here saying that the load was successful. There it is, load successful. So I hope that helps somebody out there. You know, this compared to other Honeywell flight deck aircraft, this loading process is actually quite easy and friendly, considering all you have to have is your iPad. I recommend having a dedicated iPad to the aircraft for this purpose, where you can control software versions. And as always, you know, don't work off of this video. This is not meant for training purposes. Pilatus does a great job of providing official documentation and connectivity guides. Definitely work off of those, consult your maintenance department, consult your training, and work off of that. But this just gives the uninitiated an idea of what this process is going to be like and what it's going to look like. So I hope this helps somebody out there. And if there's any questions, leave them down below. Talk to you later.